Ever since I was a little kid, I've enjoyed looking up at the night sky. To think that each little dot of light emitted is an individual star, something too far away to truly comprehend using daily measurements. The beams of light reaching my eyes all at once were sent tens, hundreds, even thousands of years ago, and are just now making it to planet Earth. It's a reminder of how small my life is in the grand scheme of things. The universe is so incomprehensibly large that it makes the little inconveniences of my own life melt away. It can be a humbling experience, yet at the same time, it's beautiful. While some stars are born or fade away, I'm able to look up at the same night sky that my grandparents, great-grandparents, that all of humanity has cast their gaze upon throughout the march of time. In a way, it makes me feel a little less lonely, a lot more grateful for my own little spot in this world. But that's just my own experience with the stars. To all the characters in Orb on the movements of the Earth, that same night sky means something different to each and every one of them. Taking place in 15th century Europe, a period of Inquisition, Orb follows a sequence of stories chained together by the idea of heliocentrism. Yes, there will be a quiz at the end of this video, and no, I can't say heliocentrism 5 times fast. Maybe I'll try. Heliocentrism, 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 Helios are sensible. I'm super down with this surge of historical settings in modern anime. Apothecary Diaries, Vinland Saga. I learned so much, like how Wales is a real place, or how Vikings often wielded tree trunks to fight one another. Anyways, heliocentrism relates to the theory that, instead of the Earth being the center of the solar system as preached by the incumbent church at the time, that the sun is instead placed in the middle of it all, with Earth and the other planets revolving around it. This idea, which contradicts many of the assertions that the church had built its identity off of at the time, and as such is marked as dangerous, as heresy, pitting those who study heliocentrism directly against the main governing body at the time, and serving as the main source of conflict throughout the story. Now, this is the part where I patiently wait 3 seconds before both subtly and oh so eloquently spoiling elements of the story. But before I do that, I implore those who decide to give Orb a shot to abide by the 3-episode rule. Generally, this is used so that the show has enough time to adequately reveal its core plot and story dynamics before a viewer assesses whether it's for them or not. Now, this doesn't always hold true. For example, I can immediately deduce the quality of "please put them on Takamine-san" without even reading the entirety of the title. Orb was a slow burn for me, but if I hadn't pushed through to episode 3, I would have missed out on something remarkable. You have been warned. Picking up from where we started, it tends to not end up all that well for the heliocentric homies, to say the least. Rather than following a single character, we instead follow an idea as it's passed from one set of hands to another, and how said discovery affects each of their lives differently. Some people lose everything, while others gain the inspiration they had been lacking up until that point in their lives. It's very much a sequence of character studies, deep explorations into their motivations and interpretations, and once introduced to the idea of heliocentrism, how this knowledge either conflicts with or supports their prior positions. It's certainly a thinker. If you don't feel like thinking, then go ahead and take my hand as we wait with great anticipation for the arrival of Grand Blue Season 2. But if you are in the mood, holy skibbity toilet riz, is it good? The one thing that really holds it back in my eyes are the visuals, which you're probably thinking, Nick, I'd think that the visuals would be a pretty good indicator of the quality of a show. The response I'd most likely choose to reply with would be something akin to the grimace emoji. They aren't so bad that they detract from the experience, rather there just isn't anything all that noteworthy besides a couple of beautiful still art pieces that add to the experience. It's good enough, and sometimes that gets the job done, especially when everything else is executed so well. I've always been a bit hesitant to put Kensuke Ushio up there in the top tier of anime composers, partly because I feel like his music doesn't always steal the show like some other composers are capable of. But after stuff like Devilman Crybaby, Chainsaw Man, The Dangers in My Heart, I still need to watch Space Dandy and the Heike story. I feel like he has enough hits at this point that you've gotta give the man his flowers. Orb, by design, is a very contemplative experience. Each arc is generally composed of mundane happenings intended to get across the initial motives of a character, enter the existence of heliocentrism, and closer to the end, this big set piece often marked by a monologue that serves as the culmination of everything they had gone through up until that point. The combination of piano, strings, and an uplifting synth really nailed both the introspective yet profound thoughts possessed by each of these characters, especially at the climax of their respective stories. Orb touches on a lot of subjects, the dangers of censorship and the withholding of knowledge and how it's at odds with the inevitability of the truth, the existence of a god and how it fits into a progressively science-based world, the importance of history, the passing of the torch from one generation to the next. While the propagation of heliocentrism does act as the foundation for each major happening in Orb, it's less the scientific proof that's important, but how the revelation impacts these individual lives. The ensuing character drama and monologues are where the real meat of the story lies, and with the help of excellent voice acting performances, I was really left with a lasting impression, finding cause to challenge some of my own thoughts and convictions as well. And while I'm capable of deriving great amounts of dopamine from the unspectacular, a big reason that I've continued to watch anime well past my childhood is because of shows like Orb. Pieces of literature or fiction that, whether intentional or not, make the audience think, are thought-provoking, and challenge the viewer to derive their own conclusions from said work, is what keeps me coming back for more. A philosophical term referenced by Plato, Aristotle, and within Orb itself is called arete. This term has been used in several different contexts, but for our sake it refers to a purpose or function that only the thing under examination can achieve. A bird's arete is flight, a knife's arete is to cut. For humans, our arete is to reason, thinking for oneself and acting accordingly, swaying between both doubt and belief. To wander, setting strict convictions aside as to not cloud your view of the bigger picture. While the act of free thought may have ended up as the downfall for the majority of our cast, it also provided them with the sense of purpose they had been lacking up until that moment. Within the grand scheme of things, each individual may not have been able to accomplish much of anything alone, but over the passage of time, individuals consistently challenging the status quo has led to the world as we know it, and I think that's a pretty beautiful thing. Welcome to anime, where thought-provoking narratives centered around the human condition are masked behind characters that look like forks, and I don't even know what this is. I wonder what his arete is.